What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football. Like I told you on the last video, when I broke down my prediction of what the primetime game is going to be, we're going to do the NFL schedule. When the NFL schedule came out, I was going to break down the schedule. We're going to go game by game, pick wins and losses, see what this 2018 season had for us. So, let me start off. Every time a schedule comes out, the first thing I do is I check for the primetime games. I see how many primetime games do we have, who our primetime opponents against, and most importantly to me, what primetime games are what primetime games. And what I mean by that, what network is the one that's broadcasting the primetime games. Because in today's football, the marquee game is the Sunday night football game on NBC. So I try to see how many Sunday night games do we have. That's the first thing I look at. The second thing I look up is divisional opponents, where we play the divisional opponents at, and where we start off home or away, and where we end off home or away. Look for stuff like that. The third thing I look for, personally, is the game that's closest to my birthday. Because this is the 17th schedule. Every year for the past 17 years, the schedule makers must hate me. Because every game that's closest to my birthday be away games far away. It don't be like up the street to Dallas or down the street to New Orleans. No, it be way off. Like one year, the day after my birthday was in Chicago, and another year on my birthday we was at Arizona. So they do this to me every year. Next thing I look up is a bye week. Look and see, do we have an early bye week or a later bye week? The only time we've ever had an early bye week was 2008, and that's because of Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Ike. And that's the only reason why we had a bye week, I think week 2 or week 3. Other than that, our bye weeks have normally been mid-season. This year's week 10. And then the last thing I look for is what game is not a primetime game, but can be flex. Like in 2015, the Texans-Patriot game wasn't a primetime game, but because the Texans won a hot streak, I think they won like 4 in a row, 5 in a row, something like that, and they bumped them up and made that Patriot game a primetime game. It got flex. I look and see what game could possibly be flex. So those are things I look at. So without further ado, we're going to look at the schedule. We're going to go by game and break it down, see what wins and which losses. Week 1, we start the season. Week 1, September 9th at Foxborough in New England. That's we start week 1 off it. We go week 1 to New England. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm predicting a dub. Straight up off the rip. Dub. We're going to go to Foxborough and we're going to win. But the national media the day after is going to be all about the downfall of the Patriots, because it's going to be stemming back from the trade of Garoppolo, benching Malcolm Butler, letting Amendola walk, trading Cook, Gronk won out, Tom Brady not letting people train at TB12, especially if I feel what the Patriots do with these two first-round picks and draft a quarterback. It's definitely going to be the rip between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and Robert Kraft and the downfall of the dynasty and all type of stuff. That's going to be the national media. It's not going to be nothing about the Texans going down there and smashing them. Even if it's not smashed, even if it's a regular game or if we smash them, it's going to be that. It's not going to be an upside about the Texans. It's not going to be up there praising the Texans. They might say a little something, but it's mostly going. The narrative mostly is going to be about the Patriots. In the stuff, and the Patriots and they downfall, which is cool because I like when the Texans fly on the radar. To be honest with you, I do want us to get national attention. I do want us to be talked about in a good light. But if you ever notice, when we're not hyped, that's when we succeed and we come out of nowhere. But when we are hyped, that's when we have a trash season. Like in 2004, Carr, Andre, and at the time Dominique Davis was the youngest trio in NFL history at that time to have a quarterback throw for over 3,000 yards and a running back receiver rush and receive for over 1,000 yards. So we was talking about, okay, this is going to be an up and coming team. 2005, what they do? 2-14. 2012, well, we go 12 and 14. I mean 12 and 4. And we do all this. Andre Johnson has a great year. Foster is a top running back. All this type of stuff. But the next year we do 2-14. When we're not talked about, when we're slept on, we come up. Well, we got the number 1 defense. They should have beat the Patriots. Now they got Deshaun Watson. I know injuries happen, but still 4-12. Like when we talked about and hyped about over the summer, we normally have a dip in play. But That's all good and gravy. Because let us fly on the radar. We going to fly on the radar, win that South, and win that AFC. How about that? We're going to fly on the radar. We're going to do all that type of stuff right there. But anyway, week 2. Week 2, September 16th. We go to Nashville, Tennessee. Texas fans, y'all might be mad at your boy. I'm predicting a loss right here. I know it's the Titans. I know we talk about, we clown the Titans for signing Vrabel. We seen what Vrabel did with our defense. It wasn't good. But you have to understand, this team did win 9 games last year. This team did go to the playoffs last year. They did win a playoff game. Like my cousin continually tells me, they got the best, the game of the year was that comeback against Kansas City, whatever. But they did win a playoff game, so you have to respect that. They did go on the road and win a playoff game. They did sweep the Chiefs, they did sweep Jacksonville, the team that won the South, that went to the AFC Championship game, the number 1 defense in the NFL. They did sweep them. In that first game, they smashed them. So you have to take into consideration of those things. We lost to Seattle. No, we should have beat Seattle. We lost to Seattle. They beat Seattle. They had some good games. They played down to their competition. Because there's some games, like they played down to Cleveland. The game that we came through when we was injured, and they only won, it was a 4-point game when Savage throws that pick. They played down to their competition. They do that. But also being said, they also play up to their competition as well. So I have a feeling that going into that game, we're going to be coming off that Patriot win. I'm not saying that we're going to be feeling ourselves a little bit too much, but I definitely see us walking away with that. I think we're going to be 1-1. I think we're going to come away with a loss against the Titans. I think the Titans will beat us in Nashville week 1. First game is a division loss. I hate to say it. First loss is a division loss. First divisional game is a loss. I hate to say that type of stuff, but that's what I think is going to happen week 2. Week 3 against the New York Giants, September 23rd, home opener. First home game. The reason why we play a road game the week before, the reason why we have 2 back-to-back road games is because week 2, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they have a concert in NRG, so that's the reason why we have to play on the road. Same thing with week 4. We got to play on the road that week too because Taylor Swift has a concert, I think. I think it's Taylor Swift has a concert in NRG, so the stadium is going to be preoccupied, so they have to be road games. But week 3, September 23rd, we play against the Giants. I think we'll beat the Giants. I just think that we're a better team than the Giants all across the board, and I just think that we're just going to go up there. We're going to be at home. It's going to be Liberty white out. First time we see Deshaun Watson in the stadium since the Cleveland Brown game last year. That's a long time. The last time we seen Deshaun play football, we're going to see him in the preseason, but it's going to be the last time he actually played a legitimate game in NRG. And I think he's going to give us a show at home. And I think we're just going to be honest, I think that game might be a smash. I think we might smash the Giants in that game. Because of that, I think they're going to put on the show. So Texas will beat the Giants week 3. Week 4. September 30th, we go to Indianapolis. We've only won there twice, in 2015 and 2016. Well, guess what? We win there again in 2018. The Texans will come away with a victory against the Colts. I don't care what the Colts do. They didn't really do too much in free agency. I don't care what the Colts do in the draft. It's another game that I think our offense will look very, very potent against that defense, against that secondary. Deshaun Watson, I have a feeling, will destroy that secondary. And I think we'll come away with a win in that game against the Indianapolis Colts. Week 5, the game that everybody was looking for. The first game everybody went to go when the schedule came out. The first game they was looking for to find. Week 5, October 7th at home, Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. Now I'm gonna let y'all know something right now. I am not a Dallas Cowboy hater. I can care less about the Cowboys. I'm not the typical Texan fan that hates the Cowboys. Because I'm one of those people who understand the difference between AFC and NFC games. I know that your division games count the most because they count more towards winning the division. I know that the AFC games, your conference games, count second most because they have to do with tiebreakers. Because, if, like say, for instance, we play the Dolphins. If we beat the Dolphins head up, that means if we hold the tiebreaker against them if it comes down to playoffs, in and out the playoffs, winning home field advantage, anything like that. And the same thing goes for a team we don't play, like the Raiders. Say, for instance, us and the Raiders have the same record. Since we didn't play the Raiders, if we have a better AFC record than the Raiders do, we get into the playoffs. Or we'll win home field advantage. Or we'll get the bye week. Like things of that nature. So I understand the difference between the NFC games, the non-conference games matter. Out of those 3, they matter the least. So yes, I want to beat the Cowboys because they're on our schedule. Don't get it wrong, but it's not the end all be all. It's not the end all be all. You know, I prefer to win the game, of course, but I do know that the games against the Titans and the Jags and the Colts and the Patriots and the Chiefs and the Raiders and the Chargers and things like that, those games are way, way more important than the Cowboy game. But it is Sunday Night Football. That game got some juice because it's Texans and Cowboys. First time they've ever played inside, at that time it was Reliance Stadium. Week 1, 2002. Sunday Night Football. That time Sunday Night Football was on ESPN. 19-10. David Carr throw touchdown to Billy Miller. First touchdown in the franchise history. This one's going to be the debate that everybody's been talking about since the day that Deshaun was drafted. Deshaun versus Dak. That's going to be what's going to be spent that whole week. Deshaun versus Dak. And we're going to finally put that to bed. We're going to show you which is the real number 4 and which is the Fugazi number 4. If you know what Fugazi is, comment below. The Fugazi quarterback in the equation. If you know what that is, you know what the word Fugazi is, comment and let me know. If y'all understand the reference that I'm making right now. But we're gonna show you which quarterback is the real legitimate quarterback, who's the playmaker, who's that dude, and who's the imposter, the opposer, the Fugazi one. We're gonna show you in that game. We're gonna put the conversation to bed that week, October 7th, week 5 on Sunday Night Football. The best way to do it on Sunday Night Football, like I said, it's the marquee game. So that's and I'm predicting the dub. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but I am predicting the Texans to come away with a victory. Week 6, October 14th, home against the Bills. I think the Texans are going to win. I know the Bills were a playoff team last year, but they let go of Tyrod Taylor. Yes, they do have Shady McCoy, but they let EJ Gaines walk. They might, more than likely, they're going to have to draft a quarterback. They got 2 first-round picks. I have a feeling they're going to try to move up from 12 and 21 and try to move up to, not 12 and 20, I think it's 12 and 22. Try to move up into that top 5 spot. They draft to get a better selection at quarterback. But I don't think it matters because I don't think any of these quarterbacks in this draft class are game changers year 1 type of thing. I don't see even though they do have a Lamar Jackson, I don't think they want a Lamar Jackson. They want a pure pocket passer type guys. I don't think none of these guys are game changers year 1. So I do predict the Texans to beat the Dolphins. The Bills. Week 7, October 21st. We go to Jacksonville. I hate to say it, but our first 2 divisional games are losses. I think we're gonna lose at Jacksonville. I know they have Bortles. They do have their defense. They do have AJ Bouye and Ramsey. I know that Ramsey and Hop go back and forth. They get the best of each other. It's not that Ramsey gets the best of Hop and Hop gets the best of Ramsey. They go back and forth. If you actually sit back and watch both of them play against each other, they go back and forth. It is a legitimate corner and receiver battle. Now, it's going to be fated differently because you have Deshaun. But Deshaun does turn the ball over. Deshaun did lead the league college football in interceptions his last year. He did have a lot of turnovers, and he did turn the ball over a lot last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had a pick or 2 in this game against that secondary. I'm not saying Deshaun's a bad quarterback, but he might turn the ball over. So I can definitely see that be the difference of the game. So I do pick that the Jacksonville Jaguars will beat us that game week 7. Week 8, it's a short week. Week 8, October 25th, we home Thursday Night Football against the Dolphins. I just think the Texans will beat the Dolphins. I don't know what they're going to do with Tannehill. Outside that, I don't know what kind of offensive weapons they have. I know they just got Amendola, but that's a slot receiver. I think our Sunday night, our primetime games this year are weak. As far as the Cowboys and the Titans, I'm cool with, but we got the Jets and then we got the Dolphins, and that game doesn't have any juice outside of if you're a Texan or a Dolphin fan, or just to watch Deshaun Watson. The Cowboy game, because it's the Cowboys. People love and hate the Cowboys. You can spin that Dak versus Deshaun. The Texans and the Titans, that's a divisional game. This game against the Dolphins has zero juice to it. And for it to be a Thursday night game, they're supposed to be making Thursday night games better. This is my only gripe of the schedule, to be honest with you, is why is that the Thursday night game? Because outside Texan and Dolphin fans, it's not intriguing to the rest of the league. And you claim that you're going to make Thursday night games better. I would much rather you give us another opponent, like a Jacksonville Jaguar. That would have been a better Thursday night game. But I do predict the Texans to beat the Dolphins. Week 9, we go to Denver. November 4th, we go to Denver to play against the Broncos. This will be the first time the Texans play Keenum, since Keenum's not been a Texan. Kubiak is some type of executive over there now. I do think the Texans will go into Mile High Stadium and come away with that victory. I think the Texans will come away and win and go into the bye week. Then, because week 10 is a bye week. So we have a bye week, week 10. We come back, week 11, November 18th, to the Washington. We go to the Washington Redskins. Now, hear me out. I'm predicting a loss right here. The reason why, in the 16 years of this franchise, no matter how good or bad this franchise has been, there's always been a game, if not multiple games, that the Texans lose, and you be like, how did they lose that game? There's no way they should have lost that game, even after the season. You know how sometimes, like last year, we lost the first game against Jacksonville, but then as the season progressed and we see how good Jacksonville was, yeah, you shouldn't have lost it, but it doesn't feel as bad because like Jacksonville was just that damn good. It's been years that after the season's over, you look back and like, we still should never lost that game. There's no way that we should have lost that game. This Redskin game has that written all over it. That this is a game that you definitely should win. And that's the reason why I think it will come up a loss. This game right here, I can't find any type of reason why you should lose this game. So that's the reason why I think they're going to lose this game. Because this just has that game written all over it. This is a game that you lose, and you sit back like, damn, how the fuck we lose to the Redskins? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm predicting us to lose that game against the Redskins. Week 12, November 26th, Monday Night Football, at home against Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans, who beat us week 2. As I said, they beat us week 2. We're going to smash. I have a feeling that every time a team walks into NRG Stadium this year, you're going to get the absolute best out of Deshaun, out of Hopkins, out of Fuller, out of JJ, out of Honey Badger, out of Clowney, out of Mercer. You're going to get the absolute best out of this team when they come home. Especially, you talking about primetime games. Especially you talking about divisional opponents. You're going to get the absolute best. And what I mean by smash, I'm not saying like 30-0 type smash. I'm not talking about smash like we blowing them out. I'm talking about smash as it's going to be a game that you know that they ain't come to play. They're going to come out aggressive on both sides, scoring and defending. They might make mistakes too, but they're going to come out aggressive and be aggressive and attack the whole game. That's what I mean by smashing. And they're going to come away with their victory against the Titans at home. Week 13, December 2nd, against Cleveland. I go back and forth on this game. Because Cleveland, this is another game that has that written all over it. And also, Cleveland is better than they've been in years prior. They got Tyrod Taylor. They got Flash. They just inked Jarvis Landry. They got Corey Coleman. They got, especially if they get Barkley number 1 or get Barkley number 4, especially if they get Barkley. There's a scenario in my mind that they get Barkley, they jump back, get a defender, and get Lamar Jackson. This team could be very, 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 very legitimate. I can see this Cleveland Brown team winning 7 to 8 games this year easily. I really do. I do think that Cleveland is going to come. Don't be surprised if Cleveland is above 500 or is a 500 team. So I go back and forth, but like I said, I think this team is going to be dominant at home and be aggressive at home, and I go back and forth. But I'm gonna go ahead and say the Texans come away with a win. But I would not be shocked if the Cleveland Browns beat the Texans. This won't be a game that'd be like, how the fuck did we lose the game? I kind of figured that they could lose this game, but I do think the Texans come away with a win. Week 14, December 9th, we come home. We got 3 straight home games. We come home to Indy. Indy comes here. The Texans will win. That's all. The Texans will sweep the Colts. And I made a mistake earlier in saying the Texans lose their first 2 divisional games. I forgot the Colts was week 4. So that was before the Jag game. So they'll be at that calculation when I say lose to Jags, they'll be 1-2. But they will beat the Colts at home week 14. Week 15, December 15th. It's a Saturday night game. The time hasn't been selected yet because they don't know if it's going to be a night game as far as like a 6 o'clock game or 8 o'clock game. They don't have the time. They don't have the time exact yet. But it's a primetime game on Saturday night against the Jets in New York. The Jets will have a new quarterback. It will either be Teddy Bridgewater or be somebody who they draft. I think it really doesn't matter. I think the Texans will beat the Jets. I don't really see the Jets. I don't see anything the Jets can really do to the Texans. I do think the Texans will beat the Jets in that game in prime time. Week 16, December 23rd, we go to Philadelphia to face the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. Now, this game here has a potential to be a flex game if both the Texans and the Eagles, both quarterbacks, Deshaun and Wentz, are healthy. They both playing at MVP levels like they were last year, and they both have good records. This definitely game could be a flex game. I'm surprised that they didn't already make this game a Sunday night game. That's one of my predictions. I'm very surprised they didn't. But this game could definitely be a flex game, potentially be a Sunday night game. But it doesn't matter because I do think the Texans will lose at Philly. It's the second to last game of the season. It's going to be cold in the snow. I think the Texans will lose that game. You know, the Texans do play well in good and bad weather in years past. I do see the Texans losing that game. Week 17, the final game of the season, December 30th, at home to Jacksonville. In the season off, could be for the AFC South. The Texans will win that game. Now, I have the Texans going 12-4, and obviously winning the division. Some of y'all might say, 12-4, what? They're doing this all, in my opinion, all on the base of the right arm and right and left leg of Deshaun Watson. I believe the boy is special. I believe the boy is the truth. And I believe him with Hop, with Fuller, with Foreman. If Foreman's healthy, possibly Miller, if we use Miller properly, or if we end up getting rid of Miller and drafting a running back or drafting a tight end, especially if we get a player like Dez. With this defense, with JJ doesn't have to be 3-time defensive player of the year, JJ. I just need JJ to be healthy. Clowney and Merciless, Covington, Honey Badger. We're going to see what Colvin going to do. We're going to see what Kevin Johnson going to do. We're going to see what Truss and Deku going to do. We're going to see what some of these players do. We're going to see if we keep McKinney, if we use McKinney as a trade piece. We don't know. We're going to see. I think this team can step up and all follow number 4 and be 12-4. Now, this is all before the draft. I'm going to do another breakdown of the schedule right before the season starts because, we're going to have the draft. We're going to have, preseason and injuries and trades. Other stuff is going to happen, and we're going to see other moves being made. So I'm going to do another one, and by that time, I should have my 1,000 subscribers. Last time I checked, I was at 745. So I'm 255 away because once I get my 1,000 subscribed, the whole format of this is going to be different. Like, the way I do things is going to be different once I reach that 1,000 mark. I got some special stuff planned. So it's going to be a little bit different when I do the next one. Because at that time I should reach that mark. And it should be more enjoyable for y'all to watch. But that's definitely what I think. But I'm gonna do another one, another schedule breakdown then too. But one thing I want to mention before we go. The Jags schedule came out. And the way they produced their schedule was they had babies for every team. They had a baby wearing like jerseys or little onesies or something symbolizing each team that they play on their schedule. The little joke. Ha ha he he. First, when I first seen it, I was kind of pissed. Like, what the fuck? But I thought about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all had one good season. This what y'all do? Y'all a little cocky, huh? I like that, to be honest with you. It gives some more juice and intrigue to the Jag games. It makes those type of things, it makes it a deeper rivalry when they do stuff that irritate you and little jabs at you. It's actually a good thing because it puts more on the table, on the line. If everybody just shake hands and is just friends, it's not that good. When it's, I can't stand you, is when you get the absolute best out of people. When everybody cool, you don't get the best because, they don't want to beat up their friends like that. When they don't like you, that's when you get playoff type atmospheres. That's when you get grudge matches. That's when you get nasty, gritty type stuff. And I'm like I said, I'm tired of this team being soft. I want this team to have some juice, have some edge, get some goons on the squad. That's what we want. We're tired of this good soft boy, good boy image. No. We need some we need some goons. We need some dogs. That's why we need Honey Badger. Hopefully, Colvin bring that in as being with the Jags. Hope he bring that dog attitude in there. It's one of the reasons why I want Dez. People talking about Dez blowing up on the sideline. He's passionate about the game. He wants to win. He wants the ball in his hands. He's not, okay, you score, bye. No, give me the ball. Let me take this game over. We need that type of juice. I'm not concerned that he'd be a distraction because if he was too much of a distraction, Bill O'Brien has no problem getting rid of you like he did Ryan Mallett, like he did DJ Swearinger. He has no problem getting rid of you if it's too much. He's not a puppet like Jason Garrett was. So we need some goons and some attitude because this is what I want us to do. That last game against Jacksonville, I want that game to be for the division. Now, the truth tell, I really want them to have a 2-game lead. But as I sit back and think about it, like, no, I want that game to be for the division. And I want somehow that if we win that game and like they lose, they don't make the playoffs. Now, we in the playoffs because, we got tiebreakers and stuff, and they got us in if we have to fall back at a safety net. But I want if we beat them, they don't make the playoffs. It was for the division, and they don't make the playoffs. They go home. And when they go and shake hands with the team, Deshaun shakes Ramsey's hand. Also because the last game of the season, it's babies everywhere. In the last game of the season, Ramsey's holding up a baby with a Texans onesie on. That's the only one like that. Ramsey's holding up a baby with a Texans onesie on. I want him to shake his hand and hand him a pacifier and say, take that. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell, get more videos. I know this video was long, but holler at me.